seems like it kind of holds true throughout the country, that when this time of year, when the fish are in all three stages of the spawn, and I firmly believe that that's how it was going on, down there. There were fish still pre-spawn, there were fish doing their deed, and then there was others that had, bloody tails and beat up, and they were, but, throughout the country, on cypress tree lakes like that, those big females, they like to hang out and they like to hang out on those big isolated cypress trees. They make good places to, set up and stage for pre-spawn, and then they turn around and spawn right on those trees half the time. And then, after they're done, I mean, that's perfect post-spawn staging, and good ambush points for prey as well. So, if you think about it, those big fish can more or less spend their whole entire life right there in that same general area. Maybe not necessarily on the exact same tree, but they don't have to go far.
Yeah. Chris, we had another question? I know we had several coming in.
The stream blipped out on us there for a second. I think we're back, though. Everybody says we're back live. So
okay.
Died on us there for a second. I don't know why it did it. But.
All right. Do we have any more questions?
Yeah, Dylan wanted to know if he was going to be fishing the Gunnersville Trail on the 27th.
Dylan wants to know if you're going to be fishing the Gunnersville Trail on the 27th.
Yes, sir. I will be there.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about going into day one of the tournament. What did you have after day one? How many inches did you have?
I had 92. Should have been 96. I've told this story too many times already. It still upsets me. Yeah. My second fish was a 20-incher that jumped off the board before I got the picture taken. Yeah. Man. Still bothers me.
Yeah.
It was 19 3/4 all day long without doing anything, and the tail was it wanted to touch that 20-inch mark so bad, and I was just trying to manipulate it to get every bit I could, and that's what I get for being greedy, because that dude just jumped right off, and I lost the whole thing.
Yep. God, and I just told James and them on our second day.
Tiebreaker, so officially I was 13th.
I got you. Wow. That's it just blows my mind how many big bags of fish were brought. If you looked at they were doing the hourly big fish.
Yeah.
And if you didn't have like a 20 to 22, 23, one day James was it 25 inches? Is that what you said?
First day. Yeah, first day.
That's just crazy. That's a big old bass.
Yeah. No kidding. And what was just weird is, you have, 24, is that right? 24 chances at a big bass money, right? So there's 8 hours, 3 days, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And how many fish and I'm not at all trying to boast here, but I mean, how many fish did I have that were over 20 inches? A lot of them. I never got one big bass money. Not one. Out of 24 chances. Even with a 21 3/4 on the last day, I still never got it. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, I know that's what James called a 22 and still didn't even the first day didn't get a.
Second day.
Yeah,
it was the second day.
I'm like, man, there's some big fish being brought in. It just goes to show you how big it is down there, how big the fisheries are, and how well they are.
It's awesome, and every single one of those fish were just as healthy as they could be. I mean, they were all just fat. Whether they had a bloody tail on them or not, they were just beautiful fish. Really, really enjoyed catching them things.
Yeah, it was. We definitely had a good time. Now I come back to Virginia and fishing Smelt Lake, and I'm fishing clear water and 10, 15 foot of water. I'm like, man, this sucks compared to what it was down there. But all right, going into your second day, First of all, how long did it take you to fill out a limit each day?
Let's see. The first day I was pretty much by 11:30 or so. I never really got on an afternoon bite. Third day is the exception, so we'll come to that in a minute. But yeah, the first 2 days, I pretty much had everything I could get by say 11:30 or so. The second day I had a real special flurry about mid-morning. I put a couple fish in the boat, I guess, fairly early. I guess maybe by 8:30 or so. Nothing huge, 16 and a half to 17 or something like that. And then something just kicked on. Excuse me. Like from 9 to 10:30, it was just one right after the other, and they were all big ones. I mean,
on YouTube. Huh. Okay.
It comes back. It just
yeah, I got you. All right, it must be something on the YouTube side then, maybe. I don't know. But anyways, show must go on. But yeah, so I mean, I forgot and I lost track where I was at, even though I'm thinking about that problem. But
we're going to talk about second day.
Oh yeah, your second day. There we go. Sorry, get me back on track.
No worries.
Kind of going into your third day. Now you said that was a different story. You kind of got into an afternoon bite on that.
The third day, well, I started off like with a bonus fish, actually. That's what made the third day such an emotional roller coaster for me. Because my first fish, the first 2 days usually came somewhere around 8:30, somewhere in there, which is, that's pretty decent, but that's still, hours in, right?
Yeah.
Well, the third day, I had my first fish was a 20-incher, and it was within the first hour. And so, and after the second day, by the way, I was only an inch behind. I was in second place by an inch. And so, catching that 20-incher right off the bat on the third day, man, dude, I thought it was over. I mean, it was on like crazy. Here we go. Yeah, that's what I get for thinking again, too. So I didn't give him a bite for 4 hours after that.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was starting to spin out, man. I was starting to get upset. And then when I finally did start getting bit, so now we are talking in that 11:30 range, it was a 16-incher, and then a 16 and a half, and then another 16 and a half, another 16-incher. And then my fifth fish was a 17. So I've got 20-incher and then 3 16s and a 17, which, it's okay, but not compared to, I knew that wasn't going to get it done. So anyway, yeah, I was, starting to panic a little bit. And then that storm came through, which didn't help at the time, or at least I thought. But then when, after that rain stopped and that wind picked up, yeah, I just, a sheer blessing from God, man. I happened to hit the right trees. My next fish that I called, my first fish that I called was with a 21 3/4. And then the very next tree that I hit was a 20 and a half. The very next tree I hit was a 19 1/4. And the very next tree I hit was an 18.
Oh.
So, yeah, and I left them biting. I mean, I was out there at 2:24, still out in the very middle of the lake. And I caught another 18-incher and another like 17 and a half or something like that, and neither one of them helped me. But so yeah, I was starting to, I was just beside myself, man. I was praising God like you wouldn't believe. I was out there. There wasn't another miles of me about screaming at the top of my lungs. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it.
It's amazing how that stuff happens, where you go from. That's why I always tell people that, when I fished in bass boats and we always had a co-angler, and you'd see him getting frustrated not catching it. I'm like, look, man, you cannot give up, because it will happen so quick and just blow up, and you got to be ready for it, And it's crazy when it just feels like it's meant to be when that happens.
It had to be. I mean, it was my time, I guess. I mean, God bless me that last hour. I called 4 out of my 5 fish in that last hour of the tournament. And, yeah, there's no other way I can describe that. I mean, that was the Lord, all him, absolutely all him.
Yeah. That's awesome when he decides to bless you just when you think things are bad. It's just when you think it's all over, and then all of a sudden he's like, hold on a minute. I got something for you.
Right.
But,
yeah.
But James, Mike, we normally do our in-depth segments, like when we have our Elite Pros on, FLW Pros on, and now we've got the Kayak Pro on, 2019 National Championship winner. So we want to do an in-depth on, and what we're going to do it on is just the techniques that you used for the National Championship. So James is going to take that over, and James, I'll let you have it. Mike, it's all you, buddy.
All right. Well, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing wonderful, man. How about you?
Oh, pretty good. So we already talked about you were flipping trees and everything like that. But what were you? I know your two main key baits were one of them was a jig and one of them was just a bait.
That's correct. Yep, a handmade, a custom handmade jig from Sinker Swim Tackle, and I had that paired up with a Tightlines UV, basically just a creature bug. But that Tightlines UV is really good stuff. That with the UV in that, the fish can see that a little better. And then if I wasn't throwing that, then I was throwing a Texas rig creature bait, like a beaver, or a striped rodent, or something like that.
And did weight matter? I know that you were Texas rigging the creature bait. Did you have to change your different weight sizes, especially like for when the wind picked up on the final day or anything?
Yes,
or did you pretty much just stay?
No, when that third day, when that wind picked up there at the end, yes, that was an adjustment that I did make, and I know that was the difference maker. Up until then, pretty much all week, I had been throwing an 1/8 ounce Titan tungsten bullet weight, warm weight, and then when that wind kicked up, I upgraded to a 1/4 ounce.
Yeah, sometimes that makes a huge difference, especially in the wind.
It did. I mean, that wind was blowing me, according to my GPS at the time. I mean, the wind was blowing me like 1.2 to 1.3 mile an hour. So, yeah, I had to try to get slowed down there.
I hear you. And did you say that? I remember being there when you were, pretty much receiving the trophy. Did you say that you were pretty much working it around the tree?
I was just dragging it. I mean, I was dead sticking the thing. And when the wind was blowing, especially, when I got pretty much, next to the tree, first of all, I had to throw the bait up in front of the tree and past the tree. And then I would just, let the wind drift me down to where I was parallel or beside the tree, and then I'd kick my rudder 90 degrees and start pedaling like crazy to get the bow directly into the wind. And then just the combination of the way the wind was blowing and me constantly pedaling, at the right pace, I guess, slowed me down enough to where I would literally drag that jig around the base of the tree and actually get hung up on the bark, and the fish would swim off with it.
Sweet. So you were pitching it straight up to the tree. You were hitting the tree pretty much with it and then dragging it around it.
Yeah, you had to be as tight to that thing as you possibly could. If I was a foot off of the base of the tree, I was not getting bit. And if I was hopping it, for that matter, also, if I was working it like you would normally work a jig or work a worm, I wouldn't get bit. I had to just let it sit, let it soak, and get it hung on a cypress knee or a root ball or something. And sometimes if I just barely shake the rod tip, just enough to kind of pop it off that cypress knee or whatever I was hung on, they'd hit it then. But most of the time, I wasn't even doing that. They would just swim off with it. My line would be going sideways.
That's crazy. Yeah, I wish I could have got on that bite.
Yeah, it was. The presentation had to be like perfect. I mean, and that's not saying that every time I pitched a tree it was a perfect presentation. It's far from that. A lot of times I'd spend, well, I guess you would think, way too much time on a tree just because I couldn't get the presentation right. I'd pedal off. I'd go out and make a big circle, and then come back and reapproach that tree a second and sometimes third time. If I just if I really believed that there was a fish there, I would work that thing until I got the presentation right.
Absolutely. So, what kind of rod and reel setups were you using on your two rigs that you were using?
I was kind of bouncing between a 7'2" medium heavy action rod and a 6'8" medium heavy. Sometimes some of those trees had the limbs, and the Spanish moss and things that would really hang down close to the water. So I use that shorter rod so I can skip that bait up underneath there, not hang the limbs quite as bad.
I hear you.
And those are paired up with 7 to 1 gear ratio loose reels.
I know also that you talked about this is what your second year fishing out of a kayak before you were a bass boat fisherman.
And that's exactly right. Yeah, a good friend of mine introduced me to this kayak stuff a couple years ago, and so last year was my first year, and I just I've still got a lot to learn for that matter, but I just wanted to start slow and try to learn as much as I could. So I just pretty much fished the state challenges last year, and this year I'm kind of trying to step it up a little bit and fish the trail series, the Pro Tour, and all that. So still have a lot to learn, but coming from the bass boat world to the kayak world is a big change.
Oh yeah, that's exactly. Me and Josh did the same thing. So we've only been doing it. Last year was our first year actually to make it where we fished to be able to even qualify for the national championship. So it was pretty cool. So gotta
definitely make some adjustments.
Yeah. What's your biggest difference between bass boat to kayak that you've seen?
The community.
Yeah.
The people, the anglers. The kayak bass fishing community is just awesome. I mean, second to none. The sportsmanship and the camaraderie, you cannot compare it to anything else. I mean, I feel like I'm in a part of just this giant family now, and it is like the best feeling in the world. Yeah, you're still going to have those, a few individuals, I'm sure, that are, going to be that guy, but it's not near the, the cutthroat, I've got whatever, more money than you, or my boat's faster than yours, or it's bigger than yours, or whatever the case is, there's none of that. I haven't seen any of that yet.
Yeah.
So even as big as the kayak fishing community is, with what is it now? Like, I feel like 3,000 members or 30,000 members. I don't know now. It's huge. It's a lot. But it feels like when you're out there on the water or you're at the ramp, I mean, it almost feels like, what it felt like when you were at a little local bass club.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, So I just love it. It's just awesome. I mean, my heart is all in to the kayak.
But the kayak guys, man, they'll fish right beside each other. They're out there having a good time, fishing.
Oh, I know.
And I'm
talking.
Talking, having a good time. I mean, I had guys coming up on me, and I can't remember which lake I was at. That's where I caught that big one at. And, and I'm like, wait a minute now, this is my daggone spot. I didn't say nothing, but everybody, they're just having a good time, and they're talking to you, and they're, hey, man, how's it going? And I'm watching a guy burn him up on a spinnerbait in front of me, and I can't even get a bite. But, that's a whole other deal. But I'm like, you go, man, because I can't get him to bite anyways. But that's the biggest. That's the biggest thing I have a hard time getting used to is because, like you say, everybody's so friendly with it most of the time that they don't mean nothing by it if they come up on you. They ain't trying to steal your spot. They're just fishing.
Right. I agree. And the thing is, a lot of times, I'm running into somebody out there on the lake or whatnot, and maybe I'm the one that's, not doing any good or anything. I mean, that happens a lot.
Yeah. And
it's just in conversation. Hey, man, you doing any good? Yeah. So, what are you getting them on? And they tell you. Yeah. They don't hesitate whatsoever to help you out. I mean, that's just unheard of.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, it's taught me, lessons and, to improve my own sportsmanship and all that kind of stuff is, hey, I'm a competitor. I've always been competitive by nature, but at the same time, there's really a good lesson to be learned there in sportsmanship. And so, hey, I'm committed. I'm going to pay it forward, from now on.
Yeah.
If I'm out there and someone else is having a rough day, man, I'll do whatever I can to help put them, help them catch some more fish. Because we're all out there for the same goal. We're all out there to have fun and enjoy what God's created for us. And so, you know what? If I can be a better example, by golly, that's what I'm going to do.
Exactly right.
Yep.
And that's that, like I said, that's just the biggest thing I've struggled with, and that's more on myself, not the other guys, of just trying to, like I say, be a better sportsman and a better, I guess you say, leader of the sport. I'll say a leader,
yeah.
But just kind of making that mark of saying, hey, we're here with one another, and we're a big family, and love doing this stuff. So,
yeah.
But James, do you have anything?
Way we're going to grow the sport.
Yeah, exactly. James, do you have anything else? I didn't mean to cut you off.
I didn't. I was just going to ask you if you had anything else that you wanted to ask him.
But yeah, it's definitely a growing sport, and I think Chad Hoover and also the guys on the Hobie side doing the Hobie Opens are doing such a great job at bringing light to this sport and getting it promoted. And I mean, I see it around here. I see guys. Just like I was telling James today, I had several guys at the boat ramp sitting there looking at the kayak. Thought that was just the coolest thing. Said it was about like having a bass boat, just smaller. I was like, yeah,
exactly.
I got everything I need. And something else, too, about the kayaking side coming from a bass. I'm glad we had you on because we don't have any guys that come from bass boat side into the kayaking side. And the biggest thing, and I was talking to James about this on the way home from the lake today, was I think fishing from a kayak has made me a better angler. For the fact that you have to break down that body of water a whole lot better in that one area than you would just ripping and running to different coves.
100% agree. I've had that conversation several times, actually. And, I could not agree with you more. Because, if we're not on something, it's not like we can just crank up and run 20 miles down the lake to find more fish.
Yeah.
So, we got to figure it out.
Yep.
That's just all there is to it. We got to figure it out. And so, this will definitely make anybody a better angler, in my opinion. And so, we take what we learn here as far as breaking things down and, picking an area apart to figure out a bite. It's only going to help you, later on if you, decide to, go fish from a bass boat again or whatever, get in a buddy tournament or something like that. Yep. It will make you a better angler. I'm fully convinced of that.
Yep. Most definitely. Chris, did you say we got a question?
Yeah, Jay wants to know what kind of kayak you use.
Jay wants to know what kind of kayak you use.
I use a native watercraft Titan 10.5. It's a pedal-driven. Yeah, it's a pedal-driven kayak. It's really wide. It's extremely stable. I don't have a whole lot. Actually, I guess I don't have anything else to really compare to since it's only my second year and it's really my first actual fishing kayak. So to compare it to, a Jackson Big Rig or a Hobie or anything, I can't. To be honest, I just can't. But what I can tell you is that the Native is extremely stable. One little goofy testimony to the stability of it is, last year again, notorious Mike here, I had a fish flop off the board. After the fish, and my momentum just carried me right over the side. I went for a swim right over the side. And I jumped back into that thing right straight out over the side, and it never tipped. Nothing ever got wet inside the boat except myself. Yeah. And so, I was, like I said, as funny as that story is, I'm sold. As far as the stability goes, I stand up all day when I'm fishing. The only time I'm really sitting down is if I'm, pedaling from point A to point B. But it's an awesome, awesome kayak.
I would definitely say we was with a guy that roomed with us, Bruce, and that's what he's got, ain't it, James? It's a Titan. Ain't that what he has?
Yeah, it's a big Titan.
And it is a big
one.
Yeah.
Oh, does he have a 13-footer maybe? Yeah, that thing's like an aircraft.
Yeah.
That's a Ranger Z521.
Yeah,
it is a huge.
It was boat. Almost as wide as a Subaru in the back. I was like, goodness, crazy.
Yeah. A buddy of mine's got the 12, which is the middle size, and that thing's a big boat too. I mean, and they're heavy. I mean, that's probably, if there's a downside, maybe the weight. But I mean, they are comfortable. They're extremely stable. Yeah, I'm really happy with a 10.5.
Yeah, it's like having a miniature John boat, a single seater John boat. That's what it reminds me of. Like, it's just a big boat.
Yeah, I've had people call it P-Rose before. Like, whatever.
Yeah. And the thing about those bigger boats like that, when you fish bigger bodies of water, like lakes and stuff, is just, like say, the stability. You know, you're getting waves and this and that. It's not a big deal. Like if you got like a small kayak.
You're right. I mean, that that third day after, when that wind was blowing, I mean, I was in like a 2.5, 3 foot weight, chop out there, and I mean, it did just fine. Yeah, I got, splashed, obviously, and you're going to get splashed from the waves and the wind. That's just part of it. But yeah. I was not nervous or, scared, anything going on, one bit. I guess I'll really get a test later on this year. I've got a trail event up on Lake St. Clair. So
yeah,
that'll be interesting. That's big water down. I feel like I'm in the Atlantic Ocean or something.
Yeah, most definitely. Now I got one more question for you before we let you go.
No worries.
There was a lot of talk about gators and snakes and all that, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I was highly disappointed on the fact that I didn't see that many gators. Not that I wanted to be real close to them. I just wanted to see a gator down there, and I did see a little bitty one beside my boat. And I seen stuff where it looked like gators should be, but did you have any encounters with gators or snake? There was a video out about a guy, Micah, had a snake in his boat. I saw one gator. Saw him 3 days in a row. He was on basically hanging out on the same bank. I don't know if it was just around the corner, basically from Potter's Point launch. Mm-hmm. Yep, and he was about a 10-footer. And so, yeah, that he was a big one. And I gave him some. I took my picture of him, though. I got a good picture of him, but that was it. I never saw any little ones. Never saw any snakes, thank goodness. I saw a bunch of people, posting up on Facebook there throughout practice. I know one in particular, the guy was loading his kayak back in his truck after he was done and discovered a snake underneath a seat. I'm like, no, thank you. Yeah.
Or the big, hand-sized spiders or whatnot. I was fortunate enough. I didn't see any of that kind of stuff. I think most of that kind of stuff, people that were, beating the bank and fishing up in a real shallow, back in the jungle kind of stuff was probably where they were encountering those kind of things. I was far from that. I was about as far from that kind of stuff as you could get.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't know about the big spiders because I probably would have never got on the water.
Right.
So I didn't know about that, thankfully. But after seeing Micah's picture with that snake in his boat, the whole time after that, I'm turning around looking, like making sure nothing's sneaking up on me. I'm always looking. I'm looking under the seat before I reach under there. I'm like, man, watch it be a daggone snake up under here. Yeah, I was kind of paranoid after that for a little while. Yeah,
I hear you, man. There's, some of the articles and stuff that I've read, in preparation for this thing was, somebody was talking about, whenever they go to fish Caddo Lake, they're not necessarily looking to see where they're getting ready to cast. They've always got their eyes in the trees. I'm like, great. Yeah. That's just comforting.
Yeah, it's totally different down there, man. Like anything up here. I mean, we got to worry about snakes, but very rare do you really need to worry about snakes out on the water. When you get down there in them places, man, it's like everything you go to, you're like, oh, geez, what could be over in this tree? You're thinking about your cast and everything.
Yeah, I'm glad we fished that down there the time of year that we did instead of 2 months from now or something like that, or even a month from now when it's really hot and everything is out and moving. Yeah, I think it'd be a different story then.
Yeah. Gators would be everywhere because I fished a lot and finish it off is just amazing. And I wish you good luck for the rest of this year.
Yeah, thank you for coming on.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for having me, and I appreciate it. And yeah, man, head's still spinning on the whole deal, man. Honestly, I want to, be a good ambassador for the sport. Do whatever I can to help grow the sport of kayak bass fishing, and along the way, if I can help anyone come to Christ, I mean, then that's even better. So that's kind of my goal for the year.
Exactly, and that's an awesome goal. That's a good goal to have. So, but brother, I appreciate it, and you have a good night, man. And like I say, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
See you.
All right, you too.
Bye. Well, man, that was a good interview. Sorry, guys, for the technical issues we're having on our end. Through what we're watching right here on the screen, everything looks okay until we get over onto the YouTube side and you look at it and it keeps. We've never had it go into missing frames and this and that. So, guys, I do apologize for that. Don't know why it's doing it. Just, it's a typical night on OneObjective. I don't want no Bass Cat Dave. You can have him gators.
Only ones I like the ones on the plate.
Yeah. I'll eat some gator. But I ain't going to go around fishing around them too much. I can tell you that right now. So, but yeah, I don't know what's going on with the service. Hopefully everything after it's all said and done and uploaded onto YouTube for the other than live, it'll clear up. So we'll check it out later. But other than that, dang, it was something else. Oh, so we was kind of talking about the Bassmasters Classic before we got Mike on. Talking about National Championship. James, let's talk about National Championship before we get into the Bassmasters Classic. We're not going to worry about too much of what I got going on because it just wasn't much. It was a Nico rig and a Texas rig. We talked about that earlier. Let's talk about what got you to the top.
Well, see, I throw a Texas rig when I'm fishing Potomac.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. But you're putting weight on it, and it's kind of you're putting it through the grass.
No.
Oh, you're not? Okay, well. I guess if I'm getting bites off of it, it's a totally different story. But I got to start getting bites to make it work. And God almighty, I can't do it. Now, I have drug them behind Carolina rigs, and I have put them on Texas rigs, like at Philpott Lake. You put a watermelon Cinco on at Philpott Lake. That's a good bait. Flipping on, rigging off points and stuff like that. But I just can't imagine. I just can't make it work other than wacky rigging. So, was it just mainly off of seawalls? Did you get many bites off of docks down there?
I was fishing seawalls, but I didn't catch nothing off of a seawall. I was fishing like there would be a little piece of cover in front of the seawall, and that's what I was catching mine off of.
Yeah. So, did you have any other thing that was mainly just a Cinco and a fluke for you? I mean, because you didn't do nothing on a spinnerbait either. Because I remember talking to you, and that's what I
caught a couple on a spinnerbait the last day. I caught 2 off a spinnerbait the last day. When the wind picked up, I started throwing a spinnerbait, and those are the ones that came probably most off of the seawall or just riprap.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about our dinner. How many pounds?
Oh man!
How many pounds of crawfish? Don't let this little boy fool you. This man right here can eat some daggone food. I ain't gonna lie to you. How many pounds of crawfish?
Question is, do you eat sushi while you're there?
Yeah, I eat 5.5 pounds of crawfish.
Chris wanted to know, did you eat any sushi while you was down there?
Convert anybody to sushi down there while you're there?
I did not convert anybody to sushi. I couldn't get nobody to go to sushi. I would have ate sushi too. Well, you got to come next year. Well, not next year. The year after is the one back down there.
Yeah.
You have to come down there. We'll eat some sushi and eat crawfish.
Put the crawfish on the sushi. There you go.
God.
Best of both worlds.
Or we can just eat raw crawfish.
Well, there you go.
Well, dang.
We can do that too.
That sounds like food poisoning all over again.
No.
Well, let me tell you something about what you don't order down there. When you go to a Cajun restaurant or whatever, you don't order a steak well done. I'm going to tell you that right now. That woman looked at me like I just spoke. Like I get, it's like I just talked bad about her mama when I asked if I could get a steak well done. She was like, well, let me see if we can cook it that way.
Well, who eats their steak well done?
Well, I got to, man. I got stomach issues. You know, we talked about this earlier. I got
But
it.
you end up having stomach issues off of something else anyway, so you
Yeah.
might as well just eat your steak the way you like it.
I should have. Food poisoning on the first day of the biggest tournament of my life. What's that? We got a question?
Yeah, Steve wants to know if he says Wilderness has a big announcement or any ideas what it might be.
Wilderness has a big announcement coming up tomorrow. No, because I don't really follow too much with other. I mean, I see stuff.
I
With
will
other
keep
brands.
an eye out, though.
Yeah, we'll see what's going on. I'm sure they got some kind of big kayak coming back out.
Basscat Rule Dave says that's insulting.
What's that?
I guess talking about the steak.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, man, look. I love my steak medium rare. And if I'm at home, I'll cook it medium rare.
I'm with you, Basscat Dave. It hurt my feelings watching it come there. It's all charcoal.
It was kind of embarrassing. I mean, she
Kind of.
She asked me, she's like, what? Like I just smacked her mama. Like the look that she gave me, she goes, I'll see if we can cook it that way. I mean, what do you mean? Do you see? You just keep it on the grill longer. But then I think they did a douchebag move and they cooked that thing so burnt, but it was still good. I ain't gonna lie to you, it was actually pretty good still. But I can't.
Not for this guy.
No. So,
Mm.
but anyways, so you made it to the last day national championship.
Yep.
I know you were struggling a little bit there for at first, wasn't it, to get a bite? Was that the second day or the last day? I can't remember which day it was.
That was the second day. I never
Yeah.
had my limit. I didn't even get a limit the second day. I had 2 really good fish the second day, but never finished my limit. I had a 19 3/4 and a 22 1/4.
Yeah.
And couldn't finish my limit. So
That's
it
tough.
is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I still made the top 100, which was, that's a blessing on its own. And then to end up moving up because I was real close to the end of the pack.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't believe I made it with 4 fish.
You were
with 9.
You were 96, wasn't you? Wasn't it?
It was something like that. I was close
Yeah.
to the back of the pack and then end up finishing 67th. So that's not too bad for 14 fish.
No, that's not bad at all, man. And that's, way to represent Virginia. We had Bruce Deal. He did really well. Casey, he had 2 good days and then just struggled the last day. And I hate to see that for Casey because Casey's had bad luck like that on the last day of these events. And I know one day he's going to put this thing together and finish a deal. But I feel really bad for him. But, I mean, still, Virginia guys had a really good showing down there. Making the top 100. So it was good to see that. So, Chris, you said we got a question?
Yeah, Basscat wants to know, did it remind you of the scene from Hell or High Water?
From Hell or High Water?
Referring back to the steak scene.
Oh. I don't know if I've ever seen that movie.
I don't think I've ever seen it either.
I don't think I've ever even heard of that movie.
Basscat Dave, look, man, I'm not picking on your age, but I think we might be a little younger than you. I don't know if I've seen that movie.
Was that movie in black and white or what? I'm just picking.
God darn, Basscat Dave, I thought the boy liked you. I don't know now.
Hey, you started it. I just finished
You
it.
just finished it. That's right. Nah,
I was just backing you up.
I might have seen it. I don't know. I can't remember movies anyways. I might have seen it on one of those TBS. What is the thing the movies used to come on late night?
Yeah, that's Fox.
TV.
They come on all the channels.
Yeah, you get the older movies. What did he say there? He's laughing. Oh man, but no, man. I'm really happy for you getting the top 100, and I sucks you didn't get into the check position, but you was really close. And I don't know if you'd probably caught another 4th fish on the second day, it'd probably put you really close.
If I would have caught a fish that 12 inches would have put me pretty much in the money.
Yeah,
Just a keeper fish.
yeah,
But, I mean, it is what it is.
that's right.
I can't go catch it now. So.
Nope. Just cry about it for a little while and keep on trucking. So.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Also, I did have some questions before we get into this last topic here. I did have some questions on some people's asking about how come we didn't do some coverage with the KBF. Well, we were going to, but Chad had some other guys down there too that was helping with the show. They were getting interviews, and then just on top of me and James fishing it and just kind of being part of the moment of it. You know, it was just really tough to get in there and work it too, as well.
It was a big deal for us to be down there, and you get down there, it's something that we really just wanted to enjoy once we got down there.
Yeah.
So, you know,
we covered so many other people fishing and talked to so many other people that fish it. We got down there. That was something we just wanted to take in and be part of, and not kind of feel like we're still on the outside looking in, covering people, you know, like it is with the Classic and all that. So
it was busy too.
And let everybody else cover us if we do good, hopefully. But anyways, enough of that. Let's get to the 2019 Bassmaster Classic Expo. I'm going to tell you what, if you were in the market to buy a rod.
A ducket rod.
A ducket rod. That was by far the place to go. No, it was, what would you buy, 3 for $100?
It was 3 for $100.
Yeah. You could walk out there with 3 rods for $100.
Somebody said they stocked up on them.
Oh, I bet you eBay and all that is blown up with ducket rods right now. I mean, it was crazy. People walk around with like just bundles of rods. If you went down there with $500, you could load up. You'd be ready for the year with rods.
Yeah, I mean, you could set yourself up with all new rods down there for $500.
So I mean, it was some really good deals there. You know, there was some good deals on some odd end things, but I don't think the deals were there like it was last year.
It was so broke up. You couldn't hardly. I mean,
but we wanted to do a good video because everybody's doing cell phone videos. So we wanted to try to get the best quality video we could, because last year was kind of a debacle with just people not liking the video. So we tried to do a little bit better job on the video this time. But, you know, in the Lawrence, we go over to Lawrence trying to do their new live, but they didn't even have the software into the Lawrence computer depth finders yet.
Yeah, they couldn't do it themselves.
Yeah, so that was a debacle. And then, I mean, it was just several things that was just like, you had to go from one building to another, from upstairs to downstairs. And then by the time all the people got in there, it was so busy that it just took forever to get around that place. My legs were killing me by that. Oh, it was good exercise. I walked my legs off. My poor dad. I think Dad was faking a kidney stone issue just so he didn't have to go walk around. Nah, poor Dad.
Yeah, I mean, we walked him. I mean, it was a lot of walking. I mean, and then we had to walk all the way to the place the first day.
Yeah.
It was different. We got Joyride now. We're gonna get Joyride next time.
Yeah, next time we got the app for Joyride, so that's what we're gonna be doing, because they said it was only 1.5 miles or 2 miles. I swear to God, it was like 5 miles over there.
Well, it was 2 miles up a 45-degree incline for the whole time.
Yeah.
And then it was every which way. I mean, the day that your dad didn't come, we actually found us a decent spot.
Yeah.
In between the two, and we found some nice walking paths that we didn't have to climb a hill that was, you know.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to need rock climbing gear the first day.
I never, man. I mean, it was pretty cool to have it there at the college, and right on the river and all that. But it was just, I don't know. I guess we've been so used to going to Texas and
we like flatland when it comes to walking.
Yeah, like Lake Hartwell, but you know, everything was just in one big building for the expo. And this time it was so spread out that you didn't even know how to, because we tried to schedule out our videos, so we know what videos we need to get and get up, and then the internet was just crap, really. It seems like it's like that every time we go to Expo. They don't really have that great internet. It's always kind of.
Well, it's like the big cities. Their internet isn't as good as it seems to be other places.
I think it's overloaded. But oh man. But anyway, so other than that, I mean, you know, talking about Dad's kidney stones. Poor Dad. A little short story there. I don't know if Dad drank too much soft drinks or what, but he stirred up his old kidney stones down there, and we. The second day of the expo, we're sitting in urgent care for Dad. Huh? Yeah, it's probably that. He was drink coffee, then he drink Dr.
No,
Pepper.
I think it was the Dr. Pepper. He had been just drinking straight Dr. Pepper and soft drinks the whole time he'd been down there.
Yeah. So I think it just all got
Next
to him.
time he goes, we're drinking all liquor
Yeah.
the whole time.
That way he won't feel them kidney stones whatsoever
Yep.
coming there.
Yep, Red Bull and vodka or something like that. Whatever.
Yeah.
We'll keep him that way. It gives him energy and keeps him loose.
Yeah, that's right. He's ready to go then. But Chris, what we got coming across the board there? People just talking.
Yeah, Basscat's hoping they'll come back with Burger King next year.
You know, I was reading through. I was trying to figure out because we're contemplating if we was going next year, depending on where it was at. And I was reading through some forums, and it looks like they're talking about it possibly being back in Alabama. This is not for certain, so I'm just going to Richmond, James River. When I used to they had the old Bassmaster Classic there. Leesville Lake, yeah, that's what they need to have it at. God, it'd be like the Pittsburgh Classic.
Good gosh, you have 50 boats on that body of water. Everybody being Old Woman's Creek.
Yeah, Old Woman's Creek run out of fish real fast.
Yeah. But make it real tough, you know. I mean, have it one day where it's like all the way drawn down, and the next morning they get there and they can't even put in at the boat ramp because the water's so high.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, that's the only way to do it. That's the only way to do it.
With logs everywhere running down the lake.
Yeah, it looks like you can walk across the lake with all the logs. And the crazy thing is, me and Chris have done this before, and me and James said, "Well, you be out there fishing, and you seen that stump up on the bank, and you're like, damn, I fished that yesterday." And then you come back through, and about 4 hours later, and it's underwater again. Yeah. You're like, man, is the lake coming back up? Where'd the stump go? I mean, that's like fishing tidal water in Leesville. I ain't never in my life.
Yeah, it pretty much is like fishing tidal water.
Yeah, but other than that, guys, I don't have too much more to talk about. You know, we're gonna try to get Octafo on, and hopefully we can work that in here next week. We won't have a show Easter weekend, so we're gonna be off. So we'll have this show. We'll have next Sunday, and then the Sunday after that we won't have a show because it'll be Easter weekend. So everybody's got stuff going on, family and dinner and all that. So, but other than that, that's all I got to talk about tonight. I do, you know, I was bad at the beginning of the show. I never thanked our sponsors, so I do apologize for that. But they've been scrolling through the top, so if you can go check out all the links at the bottom of this in the comments, well, not in the comments, but in the description. I have links to all of our sponsors. Please go check them out. Check out all the products that they offer and support them, guys, because these guys support us, and to be able to bring great guests on for you guys. So let's just go support them. Also on our Facebook page, I think it's still up. I got to go check because I don't see. We started a donation thing for Autism Month. It's Autism Awareness Month. So please go on there. Look, we got 3,500 followers on our Facebook page. If we could just get every single one of them, I know it ain't going to happen, but if we could get every single one of them to donate $1, we could raise $3,500. So I would love to see $3,000 at least come across there. We already got $5 on there. Towards the end, I'll go ahead and donate, and hopefully James and everybody else here will donate. So just go check it out. Donate if you can. $1 is all it takes. And also, John Cruz I was talking to Shannon because I was trying to work out something with them. If you go to Missile Baits, I think they have it on there. You can buy the autism bracelets, and it helps support autism awareness and all that. So go check that out, guys. Please support it. It's on our Facebook page. Go donate. None of the money goes to us whatsoever. All that goes through Facebook and into the charity. So, but anyways, guys, I don't have nothing else to add. Guys, send us some fish pictures. Please go, if you listen to us on iTunes, please rate our shows, hopefully 5 stars, and share all the videos with your friends, and please subscribe. James, you got anything else to add?
No, thanks everybody for listening in, and we'll see you next Sunday.
All right, guys. See you.
See you.